There is no substitute for hard work. I know I sound like an old man saying that, but it's the truth. I don't know what to tell you. It's the truth. Gentlemen, if you're listening to the show and you have experiences in your life that shaped you, that continue to shape you, that you're going through right now, talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sheep Get Sheared Podcast. I'm your host, Austin Creed, and my friends, today, ladies and gentlemen of the Sheep Get Sheared Podcast, I think we need to have a discussion about the young men in the audience. Because I'm not some ancient guy. I'm only in my mid-20s. But what I will tell you is, one of the things I've learned is a lot of dudes when we're young, we waste our youth on things that don't. We're told by a lot of people, we should just go out there and have fun. Or we should go out there and chase the things that we like. Kind of have almost a shiny object syndrome that a lot of women also have, by the way. But we're not going to focus on women today. We're going to focus on you. I know this is probably not going to get a lot of views. A lot of men, they want to hear me talk about these women, what they're doing wrong, what church is doing wrong. There's a time and there's a place for it. But today, we're going to focus mainly on I'll tell you a personal story. I'll tell you why I believe that there are 3 W's that men need to learn. There's women, there's wealth, and there's the world. And too many men, we waste our youth chasing things that don't matter. We usually chasing women is usually the first thing. And then people will chase wealth, but they won't know how to build it. They'll try to do these get-rich-quick schemes. They'll try to do things that are stupid, short-sighted, and shortcut-like. Try to get their way to the top without having put in the hard work. Because hard work, let's stay class A. He wants to do that. I mean, why would I work hard when I have people on the internet telling me that I can do easily? Or all I gotta do is blank. Or all I gotta do is try this. Or all I gotta do is buy this course. I know I'm gonna really sound old here, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Gentlemen, as a guy who's just entering his mid-20s, I want to tell you, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. A lot of which revolved around the fact that I chased things that were temporary and I forsake the future. I didn't care about what was going to happen 10 years from now. I didn't care about what was going to happen 5 years from now. And one of the pinnacles of this show is to get you to think for yourself. And so I would highly encourage you to put your thinking cap on and think for a second and think to yourself, what are some really bad choices that I've made that I've learned from? And what advice would you give to your let's say you're 20 right now watching this, or you're 30. You can go back 10 years. What would you tell your past self? It could be anything from how you got more money to how you got more hoes. It could be anything, okay? But so many men I see in my own life, I see on social media, they chase wild horses. They chase things that are fleeting, that are temporary. They're hedonists in plain English. And it's really sad to watch. But at the same time, I understand. I'll tell you a personal story. You might think I've always been like this, but I've not been a guy who's willing to get on camera and talk about the mistakes in my life. Because one of the biggest mistakes in my life was not addressing my inherent desire to be. Anybody resonate with that? Anybody have this natural desire to make other people feel good, chase things that make you feel good, not make you feel fulfilled? When I was entering the military at age 20, and I got out just before age 23, I was in a mental hospital for 28 days. I was on suicide watch for that entire time. And I don't say that to have you cry for me or feel bad for me. I said that because I've been to dark places. I had no purpose in my life, no idea what I wanted, nothing to live. And I was surrounded by people who had similar sentiments. They didn't know what they were living for. They felt like they were at the end of their rope. They had nothing to live for. And I will never forget this as long as I live. There was an older Mormon gentleman who was a volunteer at the place that I was at. And he sat me down and he said, "Austin, what do you care about? And I remember looking at him and I thought, what does that matter? Why do you care about what I care about? And he looked at me and he said, because you don't seem very happy. And a lot of people, when the happiest points of their life is when they're chasing something that they actually care about. Not something that's going to make them feel good, but something that's hard and something that they want to do. How many of you, from me to you for a second, how many of you are working a job that you don't like? How many of you are doing things right now that you don't want to be? How many of you actively do things that maybe you think in the back of your mind, I don't even want to be. I don't like that I'm doing this. I wish I didn't have to do this, and yet you still do it every day. You complain about it, but you're not trying to change it. You're not trying to actually do something. You're just trying to make yourself feel good by complaining about it and blaming other people. I understand. I was at that place too, but this older Mormon gentleman who I will never forget, he really sat me down and he said, what do you care about? And at the time I was writing my fantasy novel that's not done yet, but I really didn't think anybody was going to read it. Nobody wanted to hear what I had to say, really. So I thought, man, what's the difference? Why do you care? He said, I want you to really ask yourself what you want to be doing and what's keeping you from doing what you want to be. And initially at the time, I was like, oh, gee, money, obviously, because I was broke. I had no idea what I wanted to do. But all I knew was I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like how I had gotten to the place I was at. I felt like a victim in my own life. Now, you might not be able to resonate with any of it, or maybe this resonates with you very deep. But the overall theme is when I explain on this show that the church is failing people, that relationships are in ruins, I don't do it to be doom and gloom and unhappy. I do it because I found these things to be true and they depressed me. I've always seen a little bit ahead of everybody else. And I looked at where the world was going and it depressed me. My friends, you can't control where the world is going. Take it from me as a guy who's actively tried his entire life to dictate where the world's going to go. You can't. And everybody around you, does everybody around you kind of sound like this?
Business. Numbers. Is this working? Yes.
It's all about business, right? It's all about money. It's all about how we can make more, do more, and everything else. See, that's why a lot of people say that self-improvement is a trap, and I could see that. A lot of people say the red pill is a trap. I don't think it's a trap. I think it's a trap if you don't know what you're doing, and you have no idea what you're living for, what you care about. You don't have a goal, get one. You don't have a passion, get one. You don't have anything that you're worth doing in your life, then try things. Photography, podcasting, it could be being a zookeeper. I don't know but what's holding you back? What's stopping you from doing what you want to do? A lot of men, they want the fine chicks, they want the nice car, they want the nice house, they want the respect, they want people to look up to them. Let me tell you something. Times in my life where I've gotten small numbers, small little bits of that, is when I just said, you know what, I don't care what people think about me. I don't give a damn what people are saying, what they're thinking about me. I don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to let the chips fall where they may, and that's when I've seen the most success. Not when I was out here trying to impress people. Try to impress people, you're wasting your time. Let me put it to you like this. Does Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson have to flex to look big? Oh, of course he doesn't. He literally just shows up, and he's big, and he's got big muscles, and he's a tall guy, and he looks buff, right? Well, there are so many people who spend all their time flexing, trying to look good, trying to look big and scary, and all dark and handsome, and all this. Stop trying to impress people. That was a trap I lived in all of high school. Even up until last 2 or 3 years. I was so focused on trying to impress people, fit in, do whatever people wanted, or at least what I thought they wanted from me, make them be like, oh, Austin's a cool guy. Austin's a nice guy. I like him. He's a cool, nice guy. Now, I don't care what they say about me. I don't care if they say that I'm the worst person they ever met, or if I'm their model and I'm an idol for them. It doesn't matter to me. And why should it matter for you? Why do you care why the people in your life think about you? Why do you care what that woman thinks about you? Why? Because you want a boner? That's it? Come on, gentlemen. You gotta do better than this. And I'm not trying to talk down to you, because I've been there. But if you're willing to not be a beta for the rest of your life, if you're willing to not form forever, if you're willing to go and be a trailblazer. Go do something that you want to do. You're willing to invest in yourself. Then you will have the world at your fingertips. Women will flock to you. You don't believe me? I'll tell you something. It's when I've told other people to F off and I've done what I wanted, women can respond to that. You don't have to believe me. But I'm telling you, personal experience, when I told everybody to F off and I started to do what I wanted to do initially, people were laughing at me. People were telling me, oh, you couldn't do it. You could never do it. You'll never succeed. And when I started to succeed a little bit, they were like, wow. Wow, okay, I didn't see that one coming. And then they start to say, wow, I can't believe you actually did it. How'd you do it? Then they want to come to you for advice, and you're like, wait a minute, weren't you praying on my downfall 5 seconds ago? Gentlemen, when we waste our youth, we lose out on compound interest. You know, normally I show a lot of clips and videos on the show, but I want this to be a very intimate conversation. I wish I could have this conversation with myself 10 years ago. It would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of hard experiences. I'll tell you that right now. So feel free to ignore everything that you hear. But just know, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to look back at yourself and you're going to say that I was right, or you're going to find out that I said the exact same thing, most likely. And I don't say that because I know everything. I say that because I've been there, I've gotten the t-shirt. Once we embrace that there are things in this life that are going to empower us to chase what we actually want, and not settle for things that are leftovers, that people don't want, that are free. You want things that are free? I'm sorry, but you're wasting your time and you've already lost. Because in the 48 Laws of Power, Law 40, Robert Greene says the following. He says that you should learn to despise the free lunch because either A, it's garbage, or B, there are strings attached. There is no substitute for hard work. I know I sound like an old man saying that, but it's the truth. I don't know what to tell you. It's the truth. Gentlemen, if you're listening to the show and you have experiences in your life that shaped you, that continue to shape you, that you're going through right now, talk about it. Because this is a place to exchange notes. I'll tell you from personal experience that often when I've been the angriest and most unhappy, I either A, got depressed and let it dig at me and eat away at me, or I said, I'm going to do something with this. I'm going to transmute this energy, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to win. Everybody has that breaking point where they make a choice of whether they're going to be a victim or they're going to be a victor. The question is, what are you going to do? You're going to sit there and you're going to feel sorry for yourself with the job you don't like, the girl you like doesn't like you back, and you're not as rich as you want to be right now? Or are you going to say, you know what? I'm not getting the results I want doing this, so I'm going to change. I'm going to not give up. I'm going to transmute. I'm going to transcend. I'm going to try a different way of doing things. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to position myself in a better place to meet better people and network with more affluent individuals. This is all part and parcel, but you have the fire. Fire. It's nothing if you don't have the fire and you're just sitting around and you don't know what to do and you're just self-destructing by doing everything that's not allowing you to take advantage of compound interest. Compound interest states that the more you put in over a longer period of time, before you know it, your money is making you money. For long, your time will give you money, which then your money will be able to make you more money. There's a whole diagram about this, and I believe it's in the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is a great book. Not my book. It's Robert Kiyosaki's book. Fantastic. That's a whole other thing. If you're not reading books or listening to books, start doing that right now, because you're losing out on knowledge. There is nothing new under the sun. And so if you're sitting here and you think you're coming up with new ideas, I guarantee you other people have already done it, and you might as well learn from them. You might as well take what they have to say into account and then use it in your own life in a way that's most applicable to you. My friends, when we focus on wealth, women, and the world, that can consume us. We can either use that to create, or that can be used to destroy us. The question is, what are you going to do? Well, we'll return back to the normal everyday scheduled programming tomorrow. But for today, I had this moment this morning when I thought to myself, I said, actually, it's funny. I was looking through old footage on my computer. I found one of the first videos I ever shot on my camera that you're watching me on right now that I'm using to record. I used 2 years ago when I was still in the military to kind of record like these quirky, dumb tutorials. I was super goofy, not confident, The sound was not good. Lighting was really bad. But it goes to show that I've changed a lot. The show has changed a lot. And maybe at some point I'll share this footage if I can clean it up a little bit and make it not look completely bad. But it goes to show you that you can change as a man. If you're willing to put in the work, there's no substitute. You don't just show up one day and you're, everything's worked out for me, and I didn't require any hard work or any investments or any failure. I just automatically saw success. No. That's not how it works.
Oh, hell no!
You gotta be willing to put in the work, and there's no substitute for that. If you try to take a shortcut, I guarantee you, it's not gonna be free. On top of that, you risk not only it not being free, but it's gonna be even more expensive, and then you might have to even go backwards and go back on the original path. There's optimization, and then there's cheating. Look, I'm not telling you to not do what you want. Just be aware of the pitfalls. You either have things faster, cheaper, or better. You gotta pick two. You can't have all three. So pick two. My friends, I don't want this to carry on too long. And I sense that somebody needed to hear this today. And it was on my heart today. I'm not usually a feeling guy, but I sense that somebody needed to hear this today. That young men waste their youth on chasing women, especially, but chasing wealth and the world in the wrong ways. And it's time that we stop trying to seek shortcuts and we sought success through transmuting energy, understanding that the road is long and narrow and few are traveling it. The harvest is plentiful and the workers are few. The question is, are you going to be willing to be a worker, or do you want to try to get someone else to work for you and try to cheat the system? My friends, please, if you felt convicted, you want to share, I invite you to share. I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, you know what to do. Think for yourself. The only way you're going to get through this life. Take care of yourselves. See you next time.